Now it's day 2 of Investing in Africa Mining Indaba in Cape Town. The event commemorates 30 years with collaboration and sustainable development and investments in the mining sector coming under the spotlight. 10,000 delegates are attending the Mining Indaba this year, looking at transformation in the mining sector and critical solutions that will be brought on by the use of technology. SABC economics reporter Katlego Legodi is at the Mining Indaba and spoke to delegates.
Conversations centered around mine safety and explosives in terms of logistics are coming through under the spotlight on day 2 of the Investing in Africa Mining Indaba. This is where we see delegates going into the side meetings, trying by all means to play their part in terms of how then all of these companies can work towards transforming the mineral sector. It's all about the economies of the countries that are here. 3 heads of states forming part of this particular conversation, and more or less some of the mining ministers also coming into South Africa to get the best out of the 30 years later in terms of developments where the Mining Indaba is concerned. I'm going to bring Holger into the conversation. He's the Group CEO for AECI. They're hosting us this afternoon to just give us a sense of your role here. You're the long-standing company in terms of ensuring that there's a movement within this sector, and how do we ensure that really we get the best out of the chemicals, the explosives, and what we see happening underground. Holger, welcome to the SABC.
Thank you very much. This year we are celebrating as a company 100 years of being listed. Actually, we are 128 years old, the first explosives producer in South Africa and the continent. And actually, mining starts, and safe mining starts also with blasting. So that's where we play a role. We have been a partner of the mining industry for all the 100 plus years, innovating also along the blasting and explosives into detonators, electronic detonators, nowadays into digital. And that's how we help the mining industry and also the economy to continue growing.
We see those critical conversations really coming through in terms of ensuring that everyone is on the same page where transforming this sector is concerned. And we see very well you forming part of these conversations. Actually, we dragged you out of a meeting that you were forming part of just to speak to us this afternoon. Give us a sense of your contribution where these conversations are concerned.
Well, again, I think there's different elements to it. The one is, of course, economy. So how to continue grow that also outside of South Africa, into Africa, as you mentioned. So this is not a South African discussion and convention. It is going further than that. And this is all about how do you do it in a safe way. This is important in our industry. How are you doing it in a sustainable way so that you really bring all those trends into this type of discussions.
It feeds into also the just energy transition, right? Whereby we see a movement within this space, and your company will also be critical in ensuring that at least there's a realization of this particular commitment. Tell us about it.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, there's 2 aspects to it. One is our internal transformation towards renewable energy, using renewable energy. We have invested about 300 million over the last years in renewables for ourselves, for own consumption, walking away from fossil. The other more critical one where we play an important role is we are helping mining companies to extract actually energy transition metals such as copper, as nickel, as lithium and others. Which are not easy jobs to do, so it's more complex jobs compared to a coal, for instance. But yeah, this is actually a big contribution I believe we bring.
And Holger, before I let you go, we're hearing a lot of people, the sentiment being that really we don't need this to be another talk shop. We need to see a movement, transformation, decisive transformation where this sector is concerned. And we're seeing also governments from other nations, key role players in terms of the private sector as well here, just to ensure that this is not another talk shop. 30 years later, are you hopeful? Are you really optimistic that we'll see a change and a movement emanating from these conversations that you're having?
Further than I'm 100% convinced that we will get there globally. We have to. It's not choice. Maybe it's now because of global geopolitical tensions that we see in a moment. Maybe there's a delay, but we will get there because we have to get there.
Holger, thank you very much, sir, for your time. Is coming through as the Group CEO for AECI, hosting us this afternoon as they continue with those all-important talks to ensure that there's transformation in a movement where the mining sector is concerned. You can imagine that these conversations will go on for 4 days. They will come through with commitments that will also feed into the economies of these nations. I'm Katlego Legodi for SABC News at the Cape Town International Convention Centre.